Well, hello everyone. Oh, making me camera shake. Welcome to day 4 of my Vlogmas. Um, so, if you're new here, I'm Elaine, and if you're one of my regulars, welcome back. So, today is day 4 of my Vlogmas, but I must admit, day 4 I'm already behind. I didn't manage to. I filmed yesterday, but had a bit of trouble editing again. So I've uploaded this morning, and this is yesterday's, and so this is today's that will be going out shortly. So I try to do different things. I try not to do the same things as everybody else. I mean, I bear in mind my age and my circumstances that I'm retired. If you don't know, I talk a lot about retirement, and age appropriate topics for the over 60s. So when I was thinking about Vlogmas, I did make quite a few notes, different ideas of things that I might do. Now, if you'll have seen my first one, my introduction, I did say that John and I have a very low key, quite a simple Christmas. We have done for a long time. I mean, I used to work many times at Christmas, so it was just another day on the calendar. We did have fun, we did meet family and that, but I was used to working Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, Christmas Day. So we have our fun and holiday things at different times of the year rather than Christmas. It's always been the way for us. Because when I was a nurse, it is very hard to get leave at Christmas. So we do have a low key one. Now we've retired, it's possibly even more low key. The young family members, great nephews and nieces, and everybody are all getting older, so we don't have the same sort of tour round on Christmas Day that we used to do. Go and see them. You know, people's lifestyles have changed, haven't they? So we have even more low key than we had before. So I made all these, and one of them was just talking about making peace with a simple Christmas. Just sit down and chat about letting go of the pressure. You're going to have this perfection, or you should be made to feel lonely at this time of year. And it's something I feel strongly about. I think the media, um, you're watching things like Christmas Day, you could be sat watching the soaps, and then the banner comes across, doesn't it? Um, if you're feeling lonely, if you feel you can do this. Now, don't get me wrong, if somebody is feeling low and feeling lonely, it is good that there is somewhere, but I almost feel that it makes them think, well, if I'm on my own, should I be feeling lonely? Should I be whatever? And to some who may be on their own, yes, there'll be some very down, very, very, very depressed, despondent people. But some people can feel like that even when they're not alone, if their head's not in the right space. But I think some people, some people who spend Christmas Day on their own, spend Christmas Day on their own because they may choose to. And you know what? If you want to make Christmas Day on your own, then that's fine. I know when I worked in the past, John used to go to sisters, his late mums and that, but a couple of times he stayed on his own and he went, do you know, it was okay. So as I was saying, I want to talk a bit about having a chilled, low-key Christmas. That there's no shame in it. There's no shame in it. There is this pressure, isn't there? The television makes it all, the adverts, these big family gatherings that everybody has to be happy and jolly and dressed in the best, and they've got to have the best, the second, the china out, they've got to have the Christmas stuff out. And I think sometimes it's a bit too commercial, there's a bit too much pressure on that. Now, where I'm going with this is, I got a Tesco magazine last night. Now, this is the November Tesco magazine. I only saw it, picked it up last week. And in it, there is a full article about permission to pause. So I'm going to sort of maybe talk through this article because it's actually done the hard work for me about what I was thinking and I wanted to say. And if funny enough, is it Tesco adverts this Christmas? They're doing it where they're all trying to pose for the family photograph, and it's showing somebody's had it. Can't you just keep still? Can't I just have one good photograph? Or there's another one where is it two brothers niggle, and you were always a favourite child. I feel that they put the bit more of a positive slant on it because it can be like that for people, can't it? For a lot of people, it's a lot of pressure. And I mean, I know in my house sometimes, our parents, there used to be a bit of tension and at Christmas, and it's not always pleasant. So with me wanting to talk about it, Oh, I've sat on the bed, my camera's propped, and as I move, it wobbles. Apologies. So, this permission to pause. So, let's have a look at what Tesco are saying about it. It's an expert, it's an online therapist who's written it all. It sort of starts with it's a time for goodwill and happiness, but what about time for you? How to avoid the burnout with our experts' top tips. And they're just saying that it's, for many people, it is the most time you get to spend with your loved ones. But you know, whether that's your extended a family or anything, but it also feels like there's a lot of pressure and you almost can't enjoy that time because you're whirling about getting things ready, cooking, cleaning, etc. You know, worrying about money, spending money, shopping. If you're anything like me, I'm always just going for some last bits, and those last bits are every day till Christmas Eve. You know, we do stupid things. You know, even I'm talking about having a relaxed Christmas, but I can't fully let go. So it's like, how do you, some people say, it says 3 in 10 Brits say their mental health takes a nosedive over Christmas because of factors like money, entertaining, and keeping others happy. And I think that's true. And if the season's piling up on you, follow the expert advice for managing stress. So, as I say, I don't really mean to hijack what Tesco have done, but it is a little bit along this line. I won't read it all, but I'll just sort of, praise here what they're saying. That, you just got to manage other people's expectations. And sometimes, is it worth communicating what they actually want? Because you do that thing, don't you, where they do the big roast, everything, and then a lot of people go, I'm not bothered whether I don't have the big roast, and yet you sweated over it, and you're like, well, why didn't you just say we could have just had, takeaway curry or something like that? So I think sometimes, talk about the expectations. Um, and I think this is another one, practice saying no. Now, I might have said this in one of my early videos when I talked about retirement. One thing I've learned to do is say no a little bit more. Sometimes you feel polite and you want to please other people and do things. And I think that it's okay to say no. So being kind and honest is the best way to deal with things. When turning down plans, consider suggesting another time to connect. So you don't feel so guilty. You can just say, do you know what, I've got on. I can't come and meet you for the party, or I can't come for that meal. But can we suggest something in the new year when things are a bit quieter? Just manage it, just handle it. Don't think, oh my God, I've already got 4 things on that week. I need a day to myself. If I do this now, we'll just say, I've got a lot. Can I change it? I think it makes sense. I mean, and don't forget your downtime for yourself. It's suggesting here, if you do yoga, spend 20 minutes doing relaxation. Yoga, just go for a bit of a walk around the block. Just sit quietly with a cup of tea. Read your book. Just make sure, if you're the one that's the person that's orchestrating it all, you actually take some time for yourself. Otherwise, you just get, it says coming out of the doing mode and letting into the being mode exist. Now, that really resonates with me because that's something now in retirement I do. A lot of time I am just happy being. I don't need to be doing things all the time, running here, running there. I'm just like being, I think, today I don't think I'll do much. I think I'll watch a bit of TV, or I'll read, or I'll do a crossword. During the Christmas time, just sometimes, just do I have to be doing all this stuff? Try and pace yourself. And don't compare yourself with other people. And I think that's it. Like, say, we all know social media has a huge pressure, and I fall for it. I'm always on social media, and you look at people's decors, you look at people's idea of how they do things, and then you think, oh, I think I might have a go with that. So then you go out and buy something that you might not need, or you might only use once, or you think, oh, that looks simple, I'll have a go, and then it's not that simple, and then you get frustrated, and you're being led into it by TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, things like that. So I think, don't compare, just do your own thing. And we all know that it's false, isn't it? Not everybody has this happy, smiley, everybody's got matching pajamas type of life. So don't compare with others, just do what's right for your family. And I must admit, again, I've been guilty of that in the past because we don't have children. Again, that was a lifestyle choice. But sometimes at Christmas, you see people with all little children visiting and clothes, and you've all got nice presents, and you've got to have your decoration up and the tree up because the children want it. And sometimes when we don't do it, I've occasionally felt a little bit left out. I don't feel left out that I don't have children. This is the only time. Sometimes I think, oh, it'd be nice to have a little one to see the face and do all this. Um, but you compare yourself to other people's matching. I mean, I know people who do change the decor every year, the Christmas tree, the colours, or they have to be, the tree's got to be loaded with the latest design bows and the latest trend. Um, just do what you want. If you've got family things that you've had for a long time and you're happy with it, use it. You know what? Because that somebody else might think, do you know, I really like that. Wish I'd kept all my things. So don't, because there might be other people who are comparing themselves to you and thinking, you know, I think they've got it right. We do too much. They just chill and relax. So don't get caught up in it. And then it goes on to money, setting a realistic budget. Well, again, that's another one. You know, you don't want to get yourself into debt, but you get carried along, don't you? You do get to spend things, but you know, you'll see in one of my later videos coming up about we have a small flat. I don't have a lot of room for decor and a tree, and sometimes you just make use with what you've got, or change something. And there's a couple of things I'm doing this year. Last year I bought a tree because I felt first year in the flat, got to have a tree. I bought the tree. I bought a cheap one, but as you know, we haven't yet got our storage space within the building, so I threw it away. But when I've got it up and did it, it looked, yeah, it was all right. So this year I've got a different idea of things, and I've got ideas of just some very, very, very simple little pieces, just to give a little bit of a festive without it overtaking my living room. So you can do these things. I've even thrifted something from a charity shop, which I'm really pleased with. So hopefully you will see that later on. It'll be about the middle of the month. So like you say, it's not all about spending money, it's about making memories. Practice positive reframing is number 6. Remember what's within your control. Yeah, you can't control other people's moods, and whether they like the gift you gave them. I think sometimes you fret over that, don't you? Or if you've got people around and one of them looks grumpy, you then think, well, is it me? What did I do something? Have I said something? Somebody else said something to them. Just let them get on with that. Don't take all this thing on yourself. Um, Let other people in. So if you're struggling a bit, just say, you know, somebody wouldn't mind just running around with a black bag, would you? You just mind picking up the paper for me? Do you mind? People are only too willing to help you, or do you know? Could somebody just help me put the food on the plates, or could somebody just smash my potatoes for me, or just take them? Just don't be in the kitchen frazzled doing it all. Um, People will be gladly help if you just say to your family. I mean, yeah, we've all got people who won't do anything at all. You know, I'm going to really, really, really change the subject because I'm from Manchester and I love the Royal Family, the comedy show. I think it's lost on people sort of perhaps in the south, but the Royal Family made me laugh. And I remember the one where where Dave and Diane actually host for the first time, and he's out with his cocktails, and she says, "You're out mingling, and I'm in here, and you're not helping," and it all goes into a, and then they ask about the shape of the sandwiches, your bread. They had bread and butter with the turkey. Do you want rectangles or triangles? And they couldn't decide, and she's at it. I'm in here, I'm sweating, you're mingling. And you couldn't back me up when I said rectangles and whether you had triangles. Sorry, it was a great scene, and it probably is reflective of how a lot of people, you know, even if people are, your guests are in the living room or the dining room, there's always something going on in the background, isn't there? Just let it go and try not to get so wound up about it, and ask for a bit of help. And be kind to yourself is what it's saying, and I agree with that. You know, again, don't feel the pressure. Sometimes we don't even leave the house on Christmas Day. We don't see anybody. We'll always ring somebody. Um, but I mean, I think definitely during COVID, I remember I don't think we even got, well, I did get out of pyjamas. I put a new pair on, but there's days sometimes when you just want to chill. It might be Boxing Day, it might even be Christmas Eve. My favourite thing at Christmas is, I love Christmas Eve, just preparing my dinner for the day after, even if it's only but I like peeling potatoes and watching something chilled on the TV, and just just prepping and little bits like that. I love an easy day on a Christmas Eve. So be kind to yourself. I can't get the words out now. So that's what it's saying as well. And getting merry. um, be mindful of differences when it comes to alcohol, because it can have an impact on everybody's enjoyment of the holiday. And so don't let alcohol ruin your day. So if somebody drinks a bit too much, then be aware of that. There's not a lot you can do about it. I'm going to cough again now, sorry. Excuse me. And if you want to slurp or two as you go along, then go with it. So it's funny how they covered that topic. And I personally do think, as one who doesn't have the big bells and whistle Christmas, I think it's quite nice. It's quite nice just to... They are the shortest, darkest days of the year are around Christmas time. And I think it's a time to recharge a little bit. Do you think, does nature make it that way? So that animals hibernate, don't they? Does nature make these dark days, excuse me, so that you do relax and recharge? And I great believe in that. And it is hard not to get caught up in other people's things, but just try not. And if you don't want to get involved, even if you're not doing it yourself, and you want to sit at home and stay, like me and John will stay together for, a lot of Christmas on our own. And you do feel people going, oh, what are you doing for Christmas? Where are you going for Christmas? And I must admit, and it does catch me sometimes, I think, well, actually, we're not really doing anything. And then people look at you as if you're some kind of sado, as if nobody likes you and you don't have any friends, and is that what, or you're lazy, or you're a bit of a slob. Don't be made to feel like that. I think you'd be surprised. Again, a lot of people have said to us, God, I wish I could do what you do. Well, you think, well, you can really. It's very difficult to get out of things if you've got big pressures from a family. But we've gradually, our family now know this is what we do. We have been invited for dinner all the time. People don't invite us anymore because a lot of people eat very early. It's a bit too early for us. We like to eat later on. I must admit, as we were a child and at home, we always ate after the Queen. Once the Queen's speech, now with King Charles, we only ate after that. So a lot of family eat very early because of children or other things. So we don't get invited anymore. So what we do, our family say it's an open door. We have family and we have very good friends who say, do you know, you're always welcome with us on Christmas Day. So I've got my sister-in-law, my niece, some really good friends, John's sister. We know if we picked the phone up the week before and said, can we be cheeky? Can we come and join you on Christmas Day? We would be welcoming up with open arms. But they know that we don't tend to do that way. I used to feel I was missing out, and a lot of this is driven by John, because he's Grinch. Well, he's not a Grinch, but he didn't have very good Christmases as a child. And we used to go to families, and we've had some great Christmases. But as we get older now, we are getting a bit laid back. And even I know I'd like this. Now I'm not working. I know I've got to have these quiet Christmases. I really like them. And so just don't be caught up. And it's okay to be chilled. It's okay not to go with the flow. Like I say, we go out regularly, every week. But when it comes to Christmas, we don't go. it's noisy. The pubs, the restaurants, they're busy with people who don't normally go out the rest of the time. So that's fine. You go, you enjoy it. We tend to like it when it's quiet and less busy. And so we stay in and we enjoy our time at home. So, you know what? Let's be a big shout for the quiet, chilled, simple Christmas. Because you know what? It suits a lot of people. And if you're one of them people, then you enjoy it and don't be made to do things you don't want to do. And, like you say, maybe learn to say no or say it in a different way. Well, I can't do that, but I'll meet you again at another time. So I'm going to say now, I'm going to go because I'm rattling a bit too much. So cheers to a very quiet, relaxed Christmas. See you all again on tomorrow's video. Bye now. Take care.